All right, good. I'm muted. All right. Everybody's seen the PSI and we're all ready to go today?
Yes, Judge.
Yes, Judge.
All right. Then I am going to call the case. Give me 1 second here.
My client, I sent them another link just in case they didn't get yours.
All right. She's here.
Okay.
All right, let's be on the record in case number 2018-CR1045, caption State of Kansas versus Aravante Triplett. Would the parties announce their appearances, please?
May it please the court, the state appears by and through Thomas Penland.
May it please the court, the defendant appears by Mark Birmingham via Zoom. The defendant should be appearing by Zoom as well.
All right. Ms. Triplett, as your lawyer mentioned, we are appearing by Zoom today, given the pandemic. And my understanding in talking to Mr. Birmingham is that you and he had a chance to talk about this, and you're okay with waiving your personal appearance in court today and going forward with this hearing. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All righty, thank you. All right, so as I said, we are here for a sentencing today, and I would note for the record that the parties appeared actually in court back on March 23rd. And at that, I'm sorry, it was on February 14th. And at that time, the defendant changed her plea from one of not guilty to guilty. The court inquired and accepted that plea, ordered a pre-sentence investigation, and set it for sentencing on March 23rd. We had to cancel that court hearing due to the pandemic, and we were just able to get it rescheduled for today's date. I received a PSI from Ms. Daling in this case, the critical findings of which are follows. The sole count of conviction is one of attempted theft, which is a severity level 10 non-person felony. The defendant's criminal history score was found to be that of C. That would leave her with a presumed range of 9, 10, or 11 months. And given special rule number 9, that she was on parole at the time of the offense, she has no presumption of probation or prison. If she has to do this time, she'll be eligible to up to 20% good time credit and subject to a post-release supervision duration of 12 months. If she's granted probation today, it would be for a period of 12 months to community corrections. Mr. Penland, I would ask you, did you get a chance to review the pre-sentence investigation? Do you have any additions, corrections, or objections to those findings?
Judge, I have received it. I've reviewed it. I have nothing to add or suggest as a correction.
Mr. Birmingham, same question.
Judge, I've reviewed it. And the only problem was that the special rule applied because she was on parole. I would advise the court that her parole has been completed unless she tells us otherwise. The time has expired. She did finish out her parole while she was in Oklahoma. The parole board had no problem with her being located there. So I would ask that we proceed with the sentencing. And if she's granted probation, then I would ask that we have an interstate compact initiated to transfer her probation to Oklahoma, her home state.
All right. Ms. Triplett, what your lawyer is telling me is that he shared this pre-sentence investigation that I'm talking about, and I'll go ahead and put that up on the screen right now. Make sure it's the right copy. Yeah. You know what? I'm going to share a different one. There we go. So did you get a chance to look at this document that I'm showing you now, Ms. Triplett?
Yeah, I believe my lawyer showed it to me, my last
Okay.
court date.
Now, specifically, the findings in there are that this is a conviction of attempted theft, and it has that criminal history worksheet at the bottom that found your criminal history to be C. Did you take a look at that, and do you have any objections or challenges to that worksheet?
If you could explain to me what it means.
Okay, So basically, the end of this document has what they call a criminal history worksheet. All right. And it lists all of the prior convictions that you would have in court and how they score. And you'll see this first one, it goes in chronological order. So the first one I'm showing, they're sideways here, are those two thefts out of Johnson County from June 28th. And then it goes backwards through time with all of these other convictions that you've had in court: fleeing and eluding, theft, driving while suspended, and through those. And then there's a second page. I'll give you a second there. That shows these. And you can see this page starts out in 2015 in Wyandotte County and moves backwards to 2003 with some traffic stuff and some thefts and some batteries, things like that. And that's what they call the criminal history worksheet. And you and your lawyer should have talked about it. And if you saw anything in there that you didn't think was right, or that the score was wrong, you would have told him that. Have you had a chance to look at that? And is there anything in there that you're saying is wrong?
No, everything is correct, sir.
All right, fantastic. Thank you. I will find that there are no challenges to the pre-sentence investigation and adopt the findings therein as the official pre-sentence investigation report. Mr. Penland, comments upon sentencing.
Judge, we just ask that you follow the plea agreement. It's pretty straightforward. It asks for you to impose the mitigated term, which in this case would be 9 months with KDOC. It leaves open prison or probation. Judge, I think Mr. Birmingham would agree with me that this is a probation case. So I'll go outside of the agreement and just ask that you impose probation with the 9 months being the underlying term. Other than that, Judge, I have nothing.
All right. Now, Mr. Penland, it seemed when I read through the affidavit that the victim was able to recover all the property. Is there no request for restitution?
That's correct, Judge.
Thank you. Mr. Birmingham, comments upon sentencing.
Judge, I was aware of her criminal history being C from the very get-go. She had a fleeing and eluding about 3 years ago, and that is her person felony. She has 3 non-person felonies that she advised me of. So we went forward with the negotiations from that. I would ask that the court go along with the plea, impose the mitigated sentence, grant her probation, even though it wasn't part of the plea. We believe that because she was on parole, that might cause some problems. But now that parole is terminated due to she exhausted her time, I would ask that the court grant her probation, and that because I don't see any compelling reason why she should go to prison, actually.
Thank you. Ms. Triplett, now's your opportunity to tell me anything you want me to know in mitigation of your sentence today.
There isn't anything, sir.
All right, thank you. Mr. Birmingham, you or your client know any legal reason why I should not now proceed to sentencing?
No, Judge.
All right. For the sole count of conviction, that being an attempted theft of severity level 10, non-person felony with a criminal history score of C, Ms. Triplett will be sentenced to the mitigated box of 9 months. If she has to do that time, she'll be eligible to up to 20% good time credit and subject to 12 months of post-release supervision. Her application for probation is considered and it is granted to community corrections for a period of 12 months. There is no request for restitution. Ms. Triplett, how are you making ends meet these days?
I receive Social Security disability.
Okay, how much do you get?
$1,200 a month.
All right. And are you renting a place there in Oklahoma?
Yes, I have my own place, me and my daughter.
All right. And how much is rent?
I pay $5.95 for rent, and my utilities run about anywhere from $80 to $100 a month.
All right. Does your daughter's father contribute at all? Does he help out?
No, he doesn't.
All right. All right. Look, I am going to waive, I'm going to find that there isn't a possible restitution plan that the that the defendant could make, given her financial situation. She's responsible for a minor child. Her income's limited to her disability check. She has to pay rent, utilities, food, and provide for that child. I think that takes up all of her income. So I'm going to waive costs. I'm going to waive the supervision fee. That prior felony was in Kansas, so she should be in the database already. There should not be such a cost there. So I'll waive the bids application fee, the bids attorney's fee. Mr. Birmingham, obviously you submit your voucher to me and I'll approve it. I'm just not going to make the defendant responsible for it. All right. Ms. Triplett, there's a couple of things that I have to advise you of. You have 14 days from today's date to appeal anything you don't like about the sentence you received today. You also have the right to seek expungement of it after a period of this conviction, after a period of time following successful completion of probation. As a convicted felon, it's prohibited for you to own or possess a firearm and certain kind of deadly cutting instruments like dirks, daggers, switchblades, things, basically knives that could be considered deadly weapons. My point being, before you decide to own or possess any kind of weapon like that, make sure you talk to a good lawyer like Mr. Birmingham to make sure that it wouldn't be reason for your probation to be revoked or new charges, okay?
Yes, sir.
This is not a registration offense. And I will, do you have something to write a phone number down on, Ms. Triplett?
Yes, I do. I'm ready.
Okay. I want you to call the number for community corrections. It is 913
Mm-hmm.
573
Mm-hmm.
4180.
Okay.
Tell them your name, that you were sentenced today and that you were granted probation to community corrections. They can talk to you about, I don't know what the process is in setting up interstate compact. I think you have to be approved before they can do that. So I don't know what that process will be, but they can direct you what you need to do to get set up on your probation, okay?
Okay.
I need you to do that as soon as we're done here, so it can get going, okay?
Okay.
All right. Mr. Birmingham, anything further?
Just one thing for her information. You have to be put on probation in Kansas first before then Oklahoma has a probation case to accept. So that's the
Okay.
importance of getting in touch with the probation office here.
Okay.
Now, it won't happen overnight either, because they will have to process it and say, yes, okay, we'll accept you. The likelihood that it will go fast is probably pretty high because you transferred your parole from Kansas to Oklahoma. So I suspect that they should have a lot of documentation on you already at
Okay.
the same office that would monitor you from parole would also monitor you on probation. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay. So when the judge says call them today, okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you. That's
All
all
right,
I have, Judge.
now, one other thing, was Miss Triplett on any kind of pretrial release supervision, or was she just OR'd?
To the best of my knowledge, it was just an OR.
All right.
I
Miss
don't know.
Triplett, have you had to report into anybody since you've been released from jail?
No, just my lawyer and my bondsman. I did pay a bond.
Oh, okay. So you paid a bond. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Mr. Penland, anything else that I haven't covered today?
No, Judge.
Miss Daling,
No, I think that's everything, Judge. Thank you.
can you, was the order of probation and all that attached to the PSI I received? It was, wasn't it?
It should have been, but I can send it to you again if you need it.
That's okay. I'll get it, I'll get all that filled out and get it filed today.
Okay.
All right. Anything else for our record?
Not for the record.
Not on the record, Judge, but are you going to be in chambers this afternoon?
We're adjourned. I don't plan on it. Why is that?
I was just going to come by if you were going to be, but you're leaving at lunch.
Yeah, I'm not there right now.
Oh,
But,
okay.
But if you need to get your voucher in, we're adjourned. If you need to get your voucher in, do you have a scanner? You can scan it and email it to me. I'll sign it and send it back to you.
I can do that, Judge. Thank you very much.
Okay. All
And
right.
I got
Good
something
luck,
too.
Ms. Triplett.
Thank
Yes.
you.
Mark, I just emailed you the sentencing journal entry. If you could e-sign that,